Hey guys, before this video starts, I really quickly just want to talk about our Star Wars Battlefront 2 live stream event. This is an event that's going to be taking place on November 19th and November 26th, where Tyler and I are going to be playing Star Wars Battlefront with you guys. We're going to be live streaming it on YouTube and Twitch so you guys can watch. We're going to be playing the game with you. We're going to have an announcement video very soon having like sign-ups for who wants to play, but it's going to be really, really cool. It's going to be from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, both days, both those Sundays right after the game comes out. If you've noticed, we've had videos in front of all of our other videos kind of advertising it, so we're doing that, but this is where we want to quickly explain it to you, and we'll have a video out explaining everything else in greater detail. Like I said, we're going to be giving away prizes. So one $25 gift card per session, so one on the first Sunday, one on the second Sunday to a person that plays with us, and also a $15 gift card to a person on the first Sunday and a person on the second Sunday that watches. So you're going to be given incentive to watch and play with us. We're going to be giving away gift cards so you can use it to buy the Last Jedi tickets on Fandango. So we hope to see you there and enjoy this video. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler, and we are back once again for our Star Wars Community Series, a series that comes out every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, leading up to Star Wars The Last Jedi, releasing in theaters on December 15th. So we do this every single week. We talk about Star Wars, mainly Star Wars Episode 8 related topics, but Star Wars in general. The week that the movie comes out, we'll be having a podcast dedicated specifically to Star Wars. We're going to be using your topics. So if you have any topics or anything you want us to talk about in general about Star Wars, we will use those and have those be our topics the week that The Last Jedi comes out. So that's kind of in the future thing. For this video, we're going to be talking about a little bit of news that came out very, very recently about really the future of Star Wars episodes 10 through 12, the next 10 years of Star Wars, quoted by Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm. So we're going to go through what she says, and then we're going to go through kind of an analysis of what we think that means for both characters that are listed and not listed. And then Tyler and I are going to talk about what we even think of that, if we think that that's even something they should do. So Tyler, you have the quote. You want to read us out what she said?
So President Kennedy said, "We're sitting down now, we're talking about the next 10 years of Star Wars stories, and we're looking at narratively where that might go. Future stories beyond Episode 9 with these new characters, Rey, Poe, Finn, and BB-8. But we're also looking at working with people that are interested in coming into the Star Wars world and taking us to places that we haven't been yet. And that's exciting too because it's a vast galaxy far, far away, so the possibilities are endless."
So Tyler, she mentions 4 characters, Rey, Poe, Finn, BB-8. What do you think, firstly, about the exclusions from that list, mainly, as of right now, being Luke and Kylo?
The most surprising really isn't Luke. And I'm only saying that not to make you sound stupid, but because it says with these new characters. But arguably, Luke being the jerk that he seems like he's going to be is pretty new. But Kylo Ren / Ben Solo, I said it right for once, that's a little interesting to me, to be honest, because he's just as obviously new, and clearly, character development next to Rey isn't going to be as much as Rey, but it's going to be second, at the top is going to be Ben Solo. So it's a little bit strange, honestly, to me that they didn't mention Ben Solo or Kylo Ren in this. And one thing, just to back up, and not that I'm saying he's going to die. I don't know if he's going to die. Because to be honest, and we might even talk about it either in this video or in a future video, just because they're saying Rey, Poe, Finn, BB-8 doesn't necessarily that, like Alex and I before this video, I don't think Poe will survive Episode 9. But to be truly honest, I didn't see Rey surviving Episode 9, nor did I see Ben Solo, who's technically a Skywalker, surviving Episode 9, nor Luke Skywalker. I truly believe Luke, Rey, and Ben all will work together, and originally Leia, but no, that's not going to happen. All will work together to defeat Snoke. That's what I thought was going to happen. They were going to all kill Snoke by killing themselves, which would then eliminate Snoke to end the Skywalker saga. That's how I thought 9 was going to end. I still kind of hope that's going to happen. But, obviously, if the President Kennedy of the United States is saying that beyond Episode 9, she mentions Rey, they took Rey out of the picture. They're not going to have Poe, Finn, and BB-8. They'd have a whole new cast. So Rey's safe. Here's the deal, though. Them not saying Kylo Ren / Ben Solo, does that mean he dies? No. But wouldn't it have been safer to include him? And then if he dies, and it's like, well, we weren't going to spoil a movie. That's interesting. Just like, and I'm not going to give spoilers in case people are big fans. I saw Thor Ragnarok. Great movie. Very funny movie. Go see it. You can watch Alex's review. But, and the reason I'm bringing it up, there's a reason. It was a good movie. No. The reason I'm bringing it up is because something happens to Thor physically that was covered up in the Infinity War trailer that was aired or shown to people at Comic-Con. Also on the poster. So, and the reason I'm saying this is that, sometimes you kind of show things that aren't necessarily show or say things that might actually not be relevant, but you do it to cover up anything that might be a spoiler. So what I do find odd, and then I'll throw it to Alex, what I do find odd, honestly, is them excluding Kylo Ren from the list. Because I personally think it would have been safer for her to say Rey, Poe, Finn, and Kylo Ren. Not Rey, Poe, Finn, and BB-8. That was weird. Like BB-8, yeah, he's a character, but he's a droid. I don't know. To me, that's odd that you're excluding who's right now next to Snoke, the main villain you're excluding, who is also a major character. Like Kylo Ren, I can guarantee you Kylo Ren, the character Kylo Ren, is selling more lightsabers, more helmets, more costumes, and probably more toys than Rey. Not because Rey's a girl, but because there's more aesthetic to Kylo Ren. Just like Darth Vader sold way more than any other Star Wars character. There's just something about that character. So the fact that they excluded him, it actually may be a spoiler that we have here.
I don't know why she wouldn't say it. Just like you said, if you had to list right now, or even from episode 7, the main characters going forward in episode 8 and 9, even though Luke is obviously going to be a huge part in 8, we don't know what's going to happen to him. I do assume he will die in 9, and we'll have a video talking specifically about what we think is going to happen to Luke. But in terms of new characters, I'd say it goes Rey, then Kylo. I think Kylo is priority ahead of Finn, ahead of Poe, ahead of BB-8. The only so I don't understand why she wouldn't, like you said, why she wouldn't say him. By not saying him, it does sound like he's not going to be in them, and if he's not in them, but Rey is, then obviously something happens to Kylo unless he goes into like some sort of massive exile. The only thing that it could be that she could be kind of covering up by saying is maybe she's just referencing the good guys, quote unquote good guys. Now we don't know what happens to Rey. In fact, we have a video of like what is going to happen to Rey, right? Is she going to turn evil, dark side? Is there even, if she doesn't, all sorts of things like that. But maybe she's only talking about the good people, meaning Finn, Rey, Poe, BB-8. They all are heroes. They're all the good guys. And by not saying Kylo, he's a quote-unquote bad guy. So she could be hiding for the fact that maybe eventually he becomes good or something happens to him or whatever. But maybe she's just kind of breaking it down, good guy, bad guy. Maybe she's just kind of going into what we think right now, where it's like, obviously good guys always win, they're going to make it out, bad guys always lose, so they're not going to make it out, so that's why you wouldn't say Kylo. But then, like I said, maybe the underlying message is, well, maybe Kylo could turn good, come over, and then he would be part of that character list that she said. That's the only honest thing that I can see, because I really don't understand why she wouldn't say Kylo. And, like we were talking earlier, Tyler, now let's talk about some of the characters on that list. So you were saying, like, you don't think, like, Rey, and so I think Luke's going to go in episode 9. I think he is getting older. Obviously, Mark Hamill, they're going to have to do something with him because he is obviously a massive, massive part of Star Wars, and we'll talk about this in another video, but if they keep going, episodes 10 through 12, he wouldn't be part of it. Having Rey, that makes sense. Daisy Ridley, that makes sense. But someone like Poe, let's even talk about Poe. Like, do you think it's necessary to keep Poe past episode 9?
Literally not one bit. And so here's my problem. And now I'm gonna say my part, and then I want you to say your part. So 7, 8, and 9 clearly is dealing with the First Order, Supreme Leader Snoke, who we believe is Darth Plagueis. You can go check that video out. That's this whole character, and also Rey being extremely powerful, and we are going to discover with her who she really is. That's the whole point of this 7, 8, and 9. Along with connecting it to the generations of the past, and so it's all connected. So here's the problem that I have. If Snoke, which right now the First Order and Snoke are the biggest bads that we've seen on the movie screen. So here's my problem. If this is confirmation that Rey, Poe, Finn, and BB-8 make it out of Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and Episode 9, whatever it's called, if that means that they make it out, they defeated Snoke, they defeated the First Order, are we going to go through this again? Like, out of the First Order comes the Second Empire? What is it? Or is it just going to become, like, adventure movies? Is there going to be bad? Because there's always bad, but is there going to be, like, the ultimate, like, looming darkness over the universe, or the galaxy, I should say, that Star Wars always is in the Saga movie? Like, so if we defeat Snoke, who's the biggest bad of all right now, like, what are these movies going to be about? And I get, like, they're like future stories beyond Episode 9. Yeah, but, like, the episode movies are sagas. Like 1, 2, and 3, even though they're not the best, you could even argue that 4, 5, and 6 aren't that great. But 1, 2, and 3, that whole point is, here's how Anakin Skywalker gets to becoming Darth Vader. Here is Darth Vader's son becoming who he's supposed to be, and he's bringing balance to the Force. That's the point of 4, 5, and 6. So 7, 8, 9, like I said, is Rey finding out who she is, connecting it to, because Anakin's supposed to be in it, so connecting it to the original 3, connecting it to 4, 5, and 6 with Luke and Leia and Han, and also with Snoke, if he is Darth Plagueis, that connects it not only to the original movies, but even before the original movies. So now you got it's like a full circle type thing. But if you end that, what more is there? Because here's the thing too, like and we haven't had a video on this, but I'll put this in there. They were discussing, like, I think it was like 6, 7 months ago, they were discussing, do we end, like Lucasfilm was discussing, do we end the Skywalker saga with Episode 9? That was the heavy talks, and they were leaning towards, yes, we're going to end the Skywalker saga with Episode 9, and after that, we're only going to do Star Wars, like, spin-offs, like Star Wars story movies, where we can have sequels and that kind of thing, but we're not going to do the sagas anymore. We're not going to do, 3, 6, we're not going to do that anymore. But now it looks like they're going to continue, probably because it's a moneymaker, obviously, but, like, we can't just have, like, are we going to have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? Like, where do we stop? Because, is Snoke going to still be the bad guy? It's just, like, to me, in a way, this is not good news. That's my opinion. In my opinion, this isn't good news. And the other thing, too, in what Star Wars saga, when there's the sequel saga, so, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we didn't have any of the same cast from 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, 6. So now we're going to have 7, 8, 9, and then 10, 11, 12. We're going to have 6 movies. What is this, becoming Harry Potter? Where, like, they're going to become older? And then here's the deal. So you're going to have 10, 11, 12. Well, you're obviously going to have 13, 14, 15. So you're going to have a new cast. And then what are you going to do? 16, 17, 18, where you bring back like a 5-more-year-old Rey and Finn? Like where are we going to stop? So to me, when I saw this, I'm like, this is not good. That's my opinion. This is not good for the Star Wars fans, for the Star Wars franchise, because I hope it doesn't become a constant, like, money, even though it is, where, they just keep pouring money into it, and we keep pouring money into it, and we kind of saturate it, where it's like, okay, now again, 7 is literally episode 4, and episode 2 is literally episode 4. It was either 2 or episode 1, I forgot how, it was a little bit different. But, so we already kind of repeat. So, are we going to continue that for like 3 or 4 more times? I hope not. Like, this doesn't have to be a generational thing. We could have episode 7, 8, 9, and then we could wait like 7 years, and then we can have 10, 11, 12. And it could be new people again, just like 7, 8, 9. You can kind of bring back like Rey, and she could be a mentor. And Finn's dead, and Poe, who no one cares about, because he's just a TIE fighter, or not a TIE fighter. He's just a really good pilot, and like he's kind of the lead of the rebellion, but it doesn't really matter because they're just kind of like a side portion. Really, the only part that matters is what Rey and Luke are gonna do. They're gonna be the ones who really end up saying it's just like Avatar, and I hate to compare it to that. When Aang fights the Fire Lord, all the other members, and it literally is this way, that's why I'm bringing it up, all the other members, Zuko, who's basically like Kylo Ren, and that probably will happen, unfortunately, where Kylo Ren will come to the other side and help to defeat Snoke. Katara, all the other characters, they're doing like other little side things, but really at the end of the day, it's Aang and the Fire Lord. It's Rey and Snoke. It's what happens with those characters that determines the fate, in this case, of the galaxy. It's not so much what Poe and his good flying skills and BB-8 are going to do. They're going to do something important, but at the end of the day, they're not that important. It's Rey that's important, and maybe Finn. We'll see, what happens with him. And the reason I'm saying that is, if you bring them back, like if you did my plan, which clearly they're not, we waited 7 years after episode 9, even 8 years, get a new younger cast, just like we did with episode 7. You bring back Rey, she's a little bit older. She can be like an Ahsoka-like character, which I think we need, who then you can keep around, unlike Luke, who we have to kill off because he's older. It's not going to make sense. We might not kill him off. I don't know that. I just think that it may happen. But with Rey, like a 30-year-old Rey or mid-30-year-old Rey, you don't have to kill her off. You could literally have her, if you introduced her back in episode 10, you could have her 10, 11, 12 the entire time. She's not that old. And she's still youthful enough, the actor, Daisy Ridley, to be able to do stuff, unlike Mark Hamill. So for me, and again, I feel like sometimes I think like my imagination makes it seem like I'm like bragging, but I'm not. I don't have the $1 billion coming into my paycheck like these people to think the way that they think. But the way I think is, but what's better for the story? That's what I'm in it for. Like, how is this going to affect the story? For me, this is not going to affect the story in a good way. So what do you think, Alex? I know I just talked a whole lot, but...
No, I definitely agree. And I think we had talked about it, you and me, even after, in episode 7, when that ended, we had talked like a lot about really the future of Star Wars, just like you and me personally. And that's where I come down on it too, especially when you said, what worries me is when episode, and that could definitely be another video, when will episode 10 come out? And if episode 10 does come out just a few years after episode 9, it's exactly what you say. I completely agree. I think there needs to be at least a 10-year gap between 9 and 10. I think that's the magic number. I think that way, again, like you said, you can bring in a younger cast, you can bring back Rey again, and you can go from there. If you make episode 10 just a few years after, it feels like you're trying to make this new trilogy of 10, 11, 12 while also not, but it would be with the same characters and therefore kind of the same scenario where it wouldn't feel new enough, it wouldn't feel fresh enough. So I think you'd have to have it spaced out. And then yeah, in a you know, my personal fantasy world, I wouldn't want them to come back either. I would want a completely new cast if they're going to do this again for 10, 11, 12. New cast. I don't know how they're going to have to end it in 9 to make that possible. But if you keep the same characters, I think waiting a long time is a good thing. Bringing back Daisy Ridley as Rey, not as the main character, but as a mentor, exactly what you said. You know, she's 25. She'd be probably in her late 30s if they were to reintroduce her with an extended long break between 9 and 10. She could still come back, and like you said, she can do a bunch of stuff. I mean, you're still young. You can still do stuff. Mark Hamill is 65, 66. He can't do stuff anymore. Obviously, that was a special scenario, right? Because he did that in the late 70s, early 80s, and they brought it back. But what made Episode 7, I think, so special is it waited literally 10 years after Episode 3. And when, you know, to that point, we needed a break because 1, 2, and 3 just didn't work, and everybody felt it going into Episode 3. You know, it was like, okay, can he save himself? And yeah, 3 was the best one, but that's not saying anything at all. So I feel like we needed that 10-year break. Maybe we don't need a 10-year break again, but with these Star Wars stories, and you know, you and me had said it makes perfect sense. Like, you could just keep making Star Wars stories. Rogue One proved that it worked. Rogue One made a lot of money, made over $1 billion. And obviously Force Awakens made $2 billion. So Force Awakens did insane. And like you said, saga movies, episode movies, make the most money. And, you know, I don't think Disney is that greedy, but when you have a film franchise that can make you, you know, $1.5, $2 billion, which no other film franchise can, you're going to want to keep going. And so I get that. I do get that. At the same time, like Tyler said, you do have to worry about the story. You have to worry about the characters. You have to worry about not repeating yourself over and over, especially because the next 3, the next saga, is going to be basically the same generation of people that they're aiming it towards as this 3. And they've never had that before. 4, 5, and 6 is for a different group than 1, 2, and 3. They're supposed to kind of overlap, and people who watch the first saga are supposed to, you know, get back into it. But they're not going for the same people. People that watch 1, 2, and 3 are kind of our age. You know, they're in their early to mid-20s. So now we got this newer one, which are for the kids and also for us, because it wasn't that big of a gap. So I do feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot a little bit by saying that. That's not honestly what I would prefer. So let us know in the comments below what you guys think of all this news. Do you like that characters potentially, such as Rey, Poe, Finn, and BB-8, could be coming back for episodes 10 and beyond? Do you find it weird Kylo's not listed? And what do you think the plan for future Star Wars movies should be after episode 9? Let us know in the comments below. Again, these videos, the community series for Star Wars, comes out every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, leading up to Star Wars The Last Jedi coming out on December 15th. We're almost there. We have a couple more weeks, really. It's not that far off. We're going to have a podcast the week that movie comes out, the week as it's coming out. We're going to be using your topics, and we're going to be talking about them. So leave in the comments below anything you want us to talk about. If we don't get to it as a topic in this community series, we'll get to it in that podcast or afterwards. We'll definitely try and get to everybody. So thank you guys for watching. We will see you on the next video.